Auburn's quarterback room seems complete. I like it. Do have some questions.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Happy Charlie Tuesday to all who celebrate Auburn message board legend, the Charlie 5, also known as Kyle Rush, hanging out with us. He hosts the Top Button podcast over the barn, auburn.com. Want to share our overall view of this portal class, as well as Shemar Arnoux. It's a name we all recognize and we were really high on. He's back in the Auburn boat, which is exciting. But Tristan, the backup Oklahoma State quarterback.
Oregon.
Yep. Oregon
Same colors.
State,
Same
colors. Both
same letter.
Oregon State. Thank you. Oregon State quarterback. We assume fills up this quarterback room. Obviously, he's projected to be the favorite in what we assume will be a QB2 battle between him and Locklan Hewlett, both redshirt freshmen, to be the backup behind Byrum Brown, who obviously will start for Auburn this upcoming season. When you look at Tia, I do love the upside. It's clear that athleticism is there. It's clear that there's a ton of potential, decent arm. And I've been texting with some folks throughout the Pac-12, which is still a thing today, and just kind of covered them from a conference point of view. And it definitely seems like the sentiment and belief is this guy could be something special. And a lot of people were kind of saying like, hey, with this new staff, they should have made him more of a priority. So that's always good to see. And it definitely seems like Golesh identified him early, got him on campus, and then got the deal signed not that long after. Then it became public at like midnight while we were all sleeping, 2 nights ago, last night, whatever that might be. So it's an interesting development. I like the upside with Tristan Tia.
Yeah, I mean, you like the size, obviously. 6'3", 205. You watch his high school film, feels like the arm strength is there.
Right.
I think he completed like 76% of his passes in high school, which is obviously really good. I think if you're like most, what you're thinking is you're not thinking about 2026. You're thinking about 2027. And like, you're bringing in 2 guys that are the exact same age. And the thought is obviously one of these guys could be your guy in 2027. So is this the best option for the future, or is it a lot of projection? And I think that's what it's leans a lot more in that direction than trying to find a proven guy to be a backup. That seems like a tall task.
Yeah. I also think, though, you could have gone with an older guy to be a backup. I mean, bringing in 2 guys that are the same age with Tia and Hewlett, I think it's interesting. And that's the question I referred to there in the open. I thought they would get an older guy who you could kind of pitch and say, hey, look, you've got a really solid footing to be the guy after Byrum Brown. And also, hey, look, you're one play away with a guy who ran the football a bunch, and he also got injured 2 years ago. You just never know. We really, really need to put an emphasis on a backup quarterback. I think that pitch was out there. I think Tristan Tia makes a ton of sense. But one of the things you said, which is another one of my questions here, is not only when you look at QB2 and QB3, regardless of who wins and loses the QB2 battle, it applies to both of them. I think you could look across the entire roster. A lot of the additions that they've added through the portal screams potential and screams projection. And like you said, to 2027. Is that an okay strategy in today's day and age of college football, where it really does seem like the roster is year to year and there's less kind of planning and backfilling different position rooms for that?
Yeah, it's a tough question. I mean, do we really know? Do we really know what the right strategy is? I'm not sure that we do. I want to go back to something you said earlier. Okay. And do you think that the Ashton Daniels situation is something that's pretty common, or do you feel like maybe that was an anomaly? Because I think it was an anomaly.
And I think we talked about how rare and potentially special that was while it was happening, right?
See, like I'm thinking about a guy like Amari Odom, and I've talked about this a lot because I think his name was kind of tied to Auburn at some point in time. Kennesaw State quarterback, right up the road, had some pretty good production as a sophomore.
Which is not a state.
Correct, it's not a state.
Yeah.
You got 2 years left. You would think, man, that could be a guy you bring in, sits 1 year, and then he's the guy the following year. He gets the starting quarterback job, or he gets picked up by Syracuse. So a lot of these guys what do you view as value? And I think their value is the highest the quicker they get on the field. So I think I don't know. I don't know that it's super realistic every single year to have that seasoned veteran. And let's be honest, if your starting quarterback goes down, you're pretty much screwed anyway. Like it's not like there's going to be that many dudes you can turn to and there's not going to be a drop off. So it's like, what do you do? You kind of, we had the Deuce thing. I think Deuce would have been a pretty good scenario, but he's obviously
for sure.
He's obviously gone now.
Yeah. Or are there guys that were starters and then it just didn't work out for one way or another that could come in and be a QB2? And that's not his role, is to be QB2. His role is not to be the quarterback of the future. Like those don't have to be the same thing. Right, which is kind of what we thought Ashton would be. Ash should be the true backup to Jackson Arnold going into the season, and then Deuce be the future. Like QB2 doesn't have to be the same thing. So this honestly makes me ask the question, and maybe I'm overreacting here, and please tell me if I am. But is this a hedge against Hewlett to some extent, or do they just truly want to create a battle? Because Tia played. Hewlett has not played as much as Tia has, obviously. So that does check a few more of the boxes of what we would want the backup quarterback to have. But yeah, bringing two guys in at the same age, like I don't have an issue with it. But like I said, like I think there are some questions here.
Sure. And it may be that you have a starter that's you're so sure about. Like you have the starter. Like there's no question.
Yeah,
like, T is not coming in to compete with Byrum Brown. So that's not even a question. So like, how else do you fill out the depth chart? And hey, we've never seen a scenario where you may have two equal-ish guys battling it out for the quarterback 2 spot. And does that make them better? Make the winner better, or make it better going into the following year? It's just, to me, this quarterback deal, and really a lot of different positions with the way of the portal, you're learning as you go. And I don't know that you necessarily have something to point to say this is the way to go, but I also don't know that you have a ton to point to when you're a new staff coming in and you don't have a high school quarterback that's had multiple years in your system. You're kind of figuring it out as you go. Hey, I like these 2 young guys. They got some traits that I think I can work with. Let's see what happens. If worst case scenario, we blow it up and start all over again, and we got Byrum this year anyway. It probably don't cost you that much either.
I think that's an underrated point of this. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have any leverage. Yeah, I'm with you. Last year, going into the season, Jackson Arnold, Ashton Daniels, Deuce Knight. Now Byrum Brown, Tristan Tia, Locklan Hewlett. Which quarterback room do you think is better year over year?
You skipped one right when you were going through them. Say it one more time.
Yeah, Jackson Arnold, Ashton Daniels, Deuce Knight versus Byrum Brown, Tristan Tia, Locklan Hewlett.
That's a tough one.
It is tough. I mean, obviously high end this year, and it's not close.
You're super top heavy. You're super top heavy with Byrum Brown, who's miles better than anybody from that last year's room. Yeah. But the middle part may get you. The Ashton Daniels and Deuce may be a pretty good 1-2 combo to be above, and Tia. But again, that's just a guess. Like you don't.
Yeah, you hope it doesn't matter. And then also, yeah, you're right. It is a guess. I mean, Tia could be put in this system under Golesh, and it'd be the guy. I also don't think Golesh wants to reload the quarterback room every year. I think he's kind of doing this once, and he's laying the groundwork, and he's like, all right, you guys both have a legit shot at this after the season with Byrum. Let's go. Let's get to work.
And here's another under, like, maybe possibility. What if next year you're not comfortable with one of the 2 guys, but it gives you the incentive to maybe, if you bring in another 1-year guy to bridge a gap, you may not keep both of them, but you may keep one of them. thing, kind of thing. I don't
That's
know.
true. That's true.
Thinking about
Especially
that.
if one of them wins QB2 like convincingly and they want to be at Auburn and all of that stuff. Could you get a 1-year guy and then keep one of them? That's a good point. That's a good point for sure. For sure. Also, Reese Brush is in the room as well.
Yes, he is.
All right. Shemar Arnoux, exciting addition to the defensive back room and an interesting way for him to get here. That's next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Wayfair. Wayfair has everything you need to set your home up for comfort, coziness, success, whatever it might be. The new year is here. It's the perfect time to reset your routine and refresh your space. Kyle, have you ever got anything from Wayfair? They have everything in the world.
Yeah, we got some furniture from Wayfair.
Yeah, we have to.
It's just what I need.
We have to. That's right. From bedding and mattresses to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair makes it easy to start the year fresh. Daryl has bought a sink from Wayfair.
Wow.
Which I think is a deep cut. You know what I mean? Like
that's a roll of the dice there.
Yeah, I mean, every type of item is on this ad read, but not sinks. And Daryl's like, no, well, I got a sink from there. Okay. They have all that and the kitchen sink. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Wow.
Get organized, refreshed, and back on track this year for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Kia AutoSport, Columbus.com. Can you imagine being in the Auburn Opelika area or the Atlanta area or anywhere in the Southeast and wanting a vehicle and not checking out what Kia AutoSport Columbus has to offer?
Man, that'd be wild. Why would you do that?
You're leaving money on the table. That's for sure. If you head there and say, hey, I heard about you guys on Locked On Auburn, that's $500 off right there. And of course, you can browse our inventory online for wherever you're sitting, wherever you're listening to the show. Kia AutoSport Columbus.com. You can browse our inventory today. That's Kia AutoSport Columbus. Also in person off of Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus, Georgia. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. We're talking about potential and the future. We talked about that with Tristan Tia in the quarterback room. Shemar Arnoux is a guy who checks multiple boxes. Young player, can make an impact this season. Also can be a guy that starts in the SEC in the future. I think that's exciting.
Is this the first guy that was committed to Auburn and then flipped to another school and then came to Auburn in the portal? I was trying to think of guys that may have been committed to Auburn at one point in time, and I'm striking out, coming up with some. But anyway, regardless,
so. There's been guys that we were like in on it.
Yeah, but committed,
come back, but not actually committed. I don't think so. Yeah,
I mean, another 6'2" corner that started almost every single game, I think, as a true freshman at Florida State.
Delicious.
I love it, man. I love the Georgia connection. It says Fort Lauderdale, but I think he actually played at did he not play at what was that? What's that school? Colquitt County, maybe? I can't remember exactly where he played.
Played at Carrollton, didn't he?
Carrollton, yeah, Carrollton. Yeah, there was all those kids from Carrollton that we were trying to get.
Mm-hmm.
So they got the Georgia connection, all that good stuff. Did you see Warsaw's tweet? Kind of like his bat signal for
what did he do?
Or maybe it was shortly after. It was like the home save screen, where the little icon would bounce all around. But the icon was whenever it was said DVD video. So it was like a DVD logo for
because it's a cornerback for DVD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for our coach, man.
I love that.
Another one in.
I love that. Shemar Arnoux, so he commits to Tennessee, decommits to Tennessee, commits to USC, flips to Auburn, then on signing day flips to Florida State, and then he transferred to Auburn.
Love it.
All over the place. Glad he's here.
He's ours now. Always an Auburn
time
guy.
being, anyway. No, I think it's a great fit. So now you look at the corners you've brought in: Andre Jordan Jr., Shemar Arnoux, and Gavin Jenkins are your new corners.
Yeah.
And of course, Blake Woodby has announced he's coming back, and we're still waiting on official word of Champ Anthony and Rayshawn Pleasant. The fact that we haven't heard anything makes me feel good about that.
For sure. Look, it was always going to be tough to, I think, replace a guy like Jay Crawford, and even Kay and Lee at times was really good. But I like these two on potential. I like Andre Jordan. He's got production that I think will translate, and I think obviously being able to start every single game as a true freshman looks good on the resume coming over here. So probably, I mean, who knows if you're going to get the exact same production or better, but if you can just get close, I think you're cooking with something.
Yeah, he didn't grade out super great. I mean, you could take PFF grades with a grain of salt, but the fact that they continue to start him as a true freshman,
that's true
at the ACC. Like, I mean, what are you expecting as a freshman corner?
The story's not always written, after one season. So he's got a lot of playing. He's got a lot of football left.
Yeah,
in
and
college.
like if FSU can't generate a pass rush and he's covering a guy for forever and you allow a catch, like there's a lot going on wrong at FSU down the stretch there too. So take it for what it's worth. But I'm excited. We were excited about this guy when he was committed to us, and I didn't realize we were in the hunt for him until I got the notification that he had committed. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Took me a second. I'm like, Shemar Arnoux. Why do we know who that is? And I Googled. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this kid. That's awesome.
You're a corner guy, so if you love him, then that's a good.
I like his high school tape. I haven't been able to watch much of his. We've been doing family stuff today. I had to go out of town for some stuff, but so I haven't been able to sit down and watch his FSU stuff. But I loved his high school stuff when he was committed. I was super jazzed about that. So I just think there's an answer there. Like, is the answer equal the two corners for last year with Crawford and Lee? I don't know. But between all the guys we just mentioned, Jordan Jr., Champ, Rayshawn, Shemar, Woodby, and Gavin Jenkins, like there's an answer there. There's an answer, and I don't know who the two are and who you primarily roll with and how you rotate guys in and out and who plays nickel and all that stuff. But the answer is there somewhere. That there's enough ability and production and potential there where I feel comfortable with
if you go chalk
these guys.
If you go chalk with everybody that you got on the roster, you don't lose anybody else. Secondary's not that bad, man. Secondary's got some talent. That you got some talent at safety. You got some reserve guys that can play nickel and play safety. And then I think Rayshawn Pleasant can be a number one guy, or at worst a number two. And then you still got Woodby and a lot of those other guys and the new guys that can compete. The secondary, to me, is starting to look a lot better. If you go chalk with Sly coming back, if you get Champ back and we lock in Rayshawn Pleasant, I think you look pretty good.
Yeah, I think you have like 3 number 2 corners, and that's okay.
I think that's a great compare. I think that's a great definition of where you're at.
Yeah, so you have 3 number 2 corners. And I think with scheme, you can do that. Now, you need a pass rush to help those guys.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely certain that's on the roster yet. There's just no way that room is done. There's just no way.
Can't be.
With edge. But let's jump into our overall view of the portal class. There are some positions that I love way more this year than last year. And there's a few, like edge, that I'm still kind of scratching my head on. That's next. Right here on Locked On Auburn. Can you imagine buying a ticket to something anywhere other than with our friends at GameTime, Kyle?
No, I can't, and I won't. Actually,
no, I won't do it. I won't do it. There's nothing like being in part of the action. And I tell you what, GameTime can help you get there. It gives advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to unlock amazing college football tickets, college basketball tickets. The NBA is happening right now. Whatever it is, you can open the GameTime app and you can look at upcoming games, and you can, you're going to be surprised how fast you find great seats when you're there. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the GameTime app today. All right, final few minutes on today's edition of Locked On Auburn. I mean, there are so many position rooms on this roster that I feel really confident in. And maybe it's as equal as confidence as last year, or maybe the scheme and the fit just makes more sense with the current personnel. Like, obviously, running back is a room we're all going to be jazzed about. Quarterback makes sense, at least at the top, and I can't wait to see Tia and Hewlett battle it out. Wide receiver, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with what they've done in bringing in the USF receiving corps. The tight end room, low key, I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it because you've got your clear older guy with Jake Johnson who's come in, and you've got a bunch of young guys that I think can be a key part of this offense this year and in the year's future. But you get to the trenches, Kyle, and that's just like linebacker you feel good about. We just kind of talked about how I think the answer, you do too, is there for defensive back. They're going to have to figure some stuff out in spring, but we believe the answer's there.
Yeah.
But O-line, D-line, and edge, man, I'm having a hard time getting there right now.
Oh, and totally understandable, and especially as we're recording this, Tager Shabola, I believe, committed to Kentucky. So that was another one of the big interior offensive linemen. That
Kentucky's made some moves over the last few days. Good for them.
They have. It's crazy to me that you started off with 3 returning offensive linemen, and that's just really, really tough. Kind of wish maybe we'd have pushed.
It was 4 for a while, then Tyler Johnson.
As soon as is it Joseph Simmons announced his commitment, he was gone. So maybe you wish we could have fought a little bit harder to keep him, and then DeAndre Carter, and you may feel a little bit better. But like the numbers, to me, it's not even so much. I feel like this offensive system takes a lot of the pressure off the offensive line if you're getting it out and with the spacing and whatnot. So it's not like you necessarily have to have. I mean, it's great, but have to have just this star-studded offensive line. To me, the numbers are what's scary. Like you. And I know we'll more than likely bring in guys, even if it's later on, but like what's going to be available. You just don't have the numbers there to feel like super confident, particularly at tackle. If you get a couple of injuries or the long grueling season, don't we only get 1 bye week this year? Like right in the middle, like that's a grind, man. And you got to have the numbers, and we just don't have that. We're behind the 8 ball as that goes.
Yeah. So Skinner has committed. He committed about 30 minutes before we sat down to record this. Who is the guard? He was Golesh's right guard at USF last year.
Has a couple rushing touchdowns.
He did what?
He had a couple rushing touchdowns too.
Did he actually?
Yeah. True story. That'd be fun to watch, right?
Psych. Oh, that'd be electric. Big man touchdown? Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and then there's an assumption that we're going to get Cole Best, who was his center last year at USF.
That would be the crown jewel. Yeah.
That opens up a different conversation about Ellis.
Mm-hmm.
Do you move Ellis to guard? Or do you just have Ellis on the bench? I don't love that, but there's certainly a strong argument
Best at guard.
Or do you put Best at guard?
Yeah.
Right.
So there's a lot of conversation to be had there, but you got Skinner.
You got Skinner. If you add Best, like, okay, the answer is there at interior, like we were talking about with corner.
Yes.
Like the answer's there. They've got to figure that out. At tackle, I'm just not there yet. Like, I really like Joe Simmons. I really like Joseph Simmons. I'm not there on Ramil yet. And everybody's slotting him in as the starting left tackle. And I'm like, I just don't see it yet. I was wrong on Mason Murphy last year, so I hope I'm wrong on Ramil.
Well, some people would not argue. Some people would say you were right about Mason Murphy last year. But
my expectations were like he's not going to play. Like I thought he was going to be awful. So,
well,
but it wasn't like. Did he feel like the number 2 tackle in the portal? No, he did not.
That's fair.
That's
fair. Yeah, look, thinking about your starting left tackle being a guy coming off an ACL injury, regardless of how good he was or is scary in and of itself. But yeah, you got to get some more guys in there. And the thing is, like, I don't know, like, what does that guy look like? You know what I mean? Like, you had King Large, who didn't even really play for who was it, SMU, that Auburn was connected to, and then he went elsewhere. But like that's the kind of guy I feel like you're going to be looking at, a guy that just hadn't played a ton of football.
That's okay.
That wants to come to Auburn, and that's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I just want another tackle or two that if something happens, like at least we have an answer. Are they higher on Ty Buster than we might think? We've heard that they love Jacoby Ward, which is awesome. But I mean, what you just talked about with the numbers, I want to make sure I'm counting this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We're at like
6,
11 and 12 if you count 11 or 12 if you count both USF guys, but you count it out.
Yeah, so we're at 11 without Best.
Yeah, so 12
not
total.
Publicly committed as we record this. By the time this goes up, that may change. Let's have the conversation with the assumption of Best. So we're at 12, and 5 of those guys are going to be true freshmen. Which I think only Bear McOrder is the only one who has a path to playing time as a freshman because of position.
I mean, I guess left tackle is so hard to you got to be like a bona
You can't start a
fide,
freshman there. You can't do
unless he's like one of the top 2 or 3 tackles in the country, and even then, that's a sketchy proposition.
Who are you saying that could be? Zaire?
Yeah, I mean, he's your highest rated offensive lineman.
Yeah, he's good.
I mean, how good is he, and how ready is he going to be to compete right away?
Or do you see, hey, you're really special, we want you on the field, and you compete at guard as a freshman with the plan to scoot you out later? I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all.
But it doesn't solve your problem of playing time at tackle. It's just so thin, man.
Yeah.
And do you just eat it? Do you just wear it just so those young guys can get thrown into the fire? Like, is that something that you do and just hope?
Yeah, that goes back to in today's age of college football. Can you do that and they not leave you?
Yeah.
Or if you give them all that time, do they turn around in the offseason and say, hey, you need me now. You need me now. Pay me this or I'm out of here because I'm getting offers from so-and-so. Does that work now, Kyle? That is the huge question.
We're learning. I still, man, every single offseason is something new.
And how messed up is that? Like, you want to show loyalty and investment to a kid, but also like it gives them all the leverage when you do that.
You can't,
because then when you eat it, it's like, okay, well, we ate it. We ate the like growing pains. You're good now. You're battle tested. You're ready to go. Oh, you want how much?
Yeah. Yeah,
Crazy.
Then you got to go. Then they go elsewhere
because the other schools know that's like, oh, okay, he went through his growing pains at Auburn. Let's go get him now.
Exactly.
So, like, can you wear it? Does that work in today's age of college football? That's the question. That's the question.
It'd be fun because it would be always trying to solve you're always trying to solve a new puzzle, but at the same time, it would be a freaking nightmare trying to manage this stuff until. Again, I say it everywhere, but until we stop pretending that this is college football anymore and treat it like professional sports with enforceable contracts and
gotta have contracts. This is not going to go away until you have contracts.
Yep.
Sadly. So, Kyle, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Absolutely. Go to thebarnauburn.com, subscribe today, jump in that mega portal thread that we have that's reaching 300 pages. Ton of fun there. And anywhere you get a podcast, the Barn Podcast Network.
Yep. Brad Law and I do a show every day on that feed. It drops at 11 a.m. every day, but Friday we go live at 10. So it still probably drops at around 11 on audio as well. So be sure to check us out on there. Please like the video. Please subscribe. Leave us a review. It helps the show out a ton. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.